Hi everyone, my name is Michelle with AIM Human Performance, and today I'd like to talk with you about how exercise can not only improve your body, but also your brain. AIM Human Performance is located in the Tackett's Mill Shopping Center, and we are in the same shopping center as the Lake Ridge Neighborhood Library. So today I'm going to show you 3 different exercises that you can do from the comfort of your home that are going to strengthen both your body and your brain at the same time. I'm also going to conclude this video with a few other exercise tips that you can do outside of the exercises that we're going to talk about today to continue to help you strengthen your brain through exercise. The first thing I want to make sure to emphasize though is that we can strengthen and improve our brain at any age. So that means that all of the exercises that I'm going to share with you today are appropriate for every age level. Secondly, let's talk just for a moment about the physiology, or what's actually happening inside the body while we're doing our exercise, because this is the important part of how exercise helps our brain. So when we start to exercise and move, we start to contract all of our muscles. And what's really interesting, when we contract our muscles, they release these amazing molecules, and those molecules travel through our body and they actually cross the blood-brain barrier. And these molecules are amazing. They're able to do 2 different things, one of which is neuroplasticity, which means that it actually physically changes what our brain looks like on the inside. The second thing is neurogenesis, and that's where the good stuff happens. Neurogenesis means that we build brand new baby neurons in our brain, and we extend the life of the ones that we already have. And all of that happens because we move and exercise and contract our muscles. So that's really important. Physical activity is what I call the first half of the equation to building brain health. The second half of the equation is adding in a high level of concentration. We can't be on autopilot, letting our mind wander to other things while we're trying to exercise if we're trying to build the strength of our brain. So the 3 exercises I'm going to share with you today are going to require you to focus and think and pay attention a little bit. So let's jump into our first exercise. I will say that all 3 exercises that we're going to do today do require a little bit of balance. So if you're a little nervous about having to balance, maybe pull over a chair or go stand next to a wall so that you could safely put your hand on something in case you feel like you're going to lose your balance. So let's jump into exercise number 1. You're going to stand up nice and tall. Again, if you have that chair next to you, you can put your hand on the chair. Let's start with moving a little bit of the lower body here. So your one leg is going to start to draw a circle on the floor. If balance is a little bit of an issue, you can slide your toes along the floor in this circle. But if you want to make it a little bit more challenging, you could actually lift your foot off of the floor as you're doing this circle here. Now, as you're continuing to circle, let's see if we could smooth that circle out. So it's nice and even, it never really stops. And again, you can go back to sliding that foot on the floor if the balance gets challenging. Okay, so now let's start to make this a little bit more difficult. We're going to add the brain component in a little bit. You're going to have to focus a bit here. Your leg's going to continue to do this circling motion. Can your arms start to do a scissoring motion? It's a little bit like rubbing your tummy and patting your head, right? So circle leg, scissor arms. Nice. No circling arms. That's what they want to do. I know this one wants to do this with the leg, right? Don't let it. Keep focusing and using your brain. Could you pick up the arms a little bit and go any quicker? Okay, relax. Good. So exercise number 1 in the books. Great job. Let's try exercise number 2. So again, back to a little bit of balance work here. Let's this time start with the upper body, then we'll add in the lower body piece. So you're going to hold your right hand out in front of you. It's going to lay flat like a shelf. Your left hand is going to go on top, and you're going to start to flip your palm back and forth. So you're going to go back of the hand, palm, back of the hand, palm. Let's get this down for a couple of seconds before we add the lower body piece to it. So pick a beat or a pattern, a speed, that you feel comfortable with. Remember that you're not moving that bottom hand. It's going to stay really still while the top hand does this flipping and flopping. Now, as you continue to do this, here's where your lower body is going to come into play. We're going to practice pretending that we're a gymnast and we're walking on our balance beam while we do this. So we're going to take a couple of steps forward on our balance beam and a couple of steps backwards on our balance beam. So let's see if we can do this. Can you walk heel toe? Couple of steps. If you don't have a lot of room, a couple of steps are fine. And then see if you can continue your balance beam walk forward while you continue the hand flip. Nice. Keep that same beat or that same tempo with your hand. Try not to let it speed up or slow down as you're walking on the balance beam. Keep that bottom hand nice and still. Don't let it move. Nice. Let's walk forward one more time. And then you can take a break. Your brain and body should be getting a little warmed up here. Okay, relax. Good. So exercise number 2, finished. Let's do one more exercise for today where we're combining that brain and body together. Your brain should feel like it's getting a little bit warm in addition to your body here. So one more thing. Legs, again, are going to start the process. We don't have to do anything with our arms this time. We're going to use our legs, and I'm going to ask you to give me a little bit of geography skills here if you can. So let's get it going with the leg. Our leg's going to do some tapping. It's going to go a specific pattern. Can we take one leg, forward, center, side, center, back, and center. Then we're going to start the whole thing again. So it goes forward tap, side tap, back tap. Yep. Forward together, side together, back together. Keep going. Let's see if you can get this pattern down a little bit. Just this pattern alone might already be a little bit of a challenge for your brain to keep it going, right? And here we go. We're going to add in one more element. So as you keep this pattern going, I'm going to call out some states. I want you to answer back with the state capital. Can your brain think about some geography skills while we're continuing this pattern? So let's see what you got. California, Florida, New Hampshire, Texas, Pennsylvania, Wisconsin, Indiana, Kentucky, Utah, and let's end on Virginia. All right, good. Hopefully you got a couple of those states' capitals correct and you didn't lose the pattern with your feet there. Great job. So as a reminder, some of these exercises are pretty challenging. If you got frustrated doing some of these things, you're doing it exactly right. Remember when you were a kid and you tried to learn how to ride a bike, right? It took a lot of paying attention. It took a lot of concentration, hard work, and repetition over many periods of time before you were able to learn that new skill. It's the same thing when we're doing something to challenge our brain. It's okay if it's a little bit frustrating because that's when it means it's working. That's when all the good stuff is happening with your brain. So before we go today, I want to give you 2 more tips outside of these exercises we did today to help you continue to build your brain strength. Number 1, participate in cardiovascular exercise. We know that strengthening the heart and the blood vessels brings oxygen to your brain, and remember what I said earlier, all those molecules that travel up and cross the blood-brain barrier. And then finally, going along with that cardiovascular exercise, the second tip is to get outside and walk quickly, especially in new environments, maybe a new trail or a new neighborhood to walk through. There's some research that shows that walking quickly in new environments creates something called anticipatory proliferation, which means our brain thinks that, uh-oh, something new is going to have to be learned. I better start strengthening my brain ahead of time. So I hope you enjoyed our talk on exercise and strengthening the brain today. Read the description if you would like to read a little bit more about this subject. I have listed for you 3 of my favorite books that you can pick up at the library to learn more about this subject.